Subaru has just fired its CEO. They say because their new CEO is electric car friendly. He's going to unveil Subaru's new electric car strategy, which they will use to help them navigate the electric car era and transform the company from a gas car manufacturer to an EV one. Hello, my friends, and welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. My name's Sam Evans. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing. Great to have so many new subscribers on the channel. And if you want to know a bit about me and what I've been up to recently, I'll put a link in the description below to my wife and her cancer challenge. We've had something we've just discovered a couple of months ago where she has stage 4 colorectal cancer, which the doctors in Australia said was incurable. So now we're in Bangkok in Thailand here at a clinic where they say that in fact, it's not incurable and she does, in fact, have a chance. So I have a GoFundMe campaign. I'll put a link in the description to that campaign. Subaru's executive shuffle, well, that's what they're calling it, means they've gotten rid of their old CEO and appointed a new one. The reason? They're pledging an electrification transformation at the company. Atsushi Ozaki says the automaker will respond quickly to market trends because that's what they've always done. Apparently, do you believe that? Let me know your thoughts on that. In addition, Subaru of America said Tom Dole will step down as CEO and assume a role as corporate advisor at the company's US headquarters. In other words, he's been fired. Jeff Walters will take the helm at Subaru. One of the things you've got to keep in mind is Subaru is basically an American car company. Don't think so? They're Japanese, aren't they? Right? Japanese, aren't they? Yeah. Well, actually, not really. I mean, more than 60% of Subaru's global car sales are in the United States. More than 60%. Pretty much an American car company. Without the US car market, Subaru would be bankrupt overnight. Literally, they would. They just would have no way of servicing their debt. That is a fact. They are completely dependent on the US car market. It's also a fact that they don't make any electric cars in the US and don't plan on doing so for many years. They're hoping that Toyota will save them. They're hoping that their new CEO will be able to perform some sort of voodoo magic and figure out a way to change the future of the company. Subaru has appointed Atsushi Ozaki as their next CEO, tasking him with steering the small Japanese automaker through a challenging era of electrification, automated driving, and industry upheaval as it strives to rekindle US sales. Now, if you want to see any of my previous videos about Subaru, about my, some people would say, sensational claims on the company, some people would say they're controversial. They might disagree because, yeah, I made some pretty big claims about the company. If you want to see those videos, I'll put a link in the description. Have a look. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. The company wants to rekindle US sales, and it's clearly concerned about its future prospects in the United States, and for good reason. The new boss spoke at a Friday press conference, according to Automotive News, saying that flexibility and expansion will be the key focal points of his tenure. Subaru will be flexible in quickly responding to market trends, they say, such as electrification. Is it easy to be flexible and quickly respond to market trends like electrification? No. I think Legacy Auto have well and truly proven it's not easy. However, Subaru says it will seek to grow in the US and new markets such as Australia. Now, sorry to say Subaru, but Australia is not a new market. You've been selling cars in Australia for more than 30 years. Anyway, we at Subaru want to survive the age of electrification by being nimble, Ozaki said. We will put various systems in place while focusing on flexibility and expansion. But he didn't actually say what those systems were, how many EVs Subaru plan to make, where they're going to make them, if they'll make them in the US, whether or not those EVs will qualify for the IRA tax incentive, or what they'll look like, or anything like that. In addition, Subaru of America announced Tom Dole will step down as CEO and assume a role as corporate advisor at the company's US headquarters in Camden, New Jersey. That's effective immediately. Jeff Walters is currently the Senior Vice President of Sales, and he'll be promoted to President and COO. Walters has more than 30 years of experience with Subaru of America. Prior to that, he was Vice President of Field Operations. He held roles as Director of Field Operations, Regional Sales Manager, and Brand Strategy Manager. The US, which constitutes Subaru's biggest market by miles, holds lots of potential, Ozaki said. I believe we can still grow our sales in the United States. We also receive a lot of customer inquiries from Japan, Asia, Australia, and Canada as well, he said. At the moment, we are unable to meet such potential demand due to chip shortages, but we will work to resolve such issues and seek to further increase our sales globally. Ozaki, who is 60 years old, most recently served as Global Production Chief, but has a long background in quality assurance as Chief Quality Officer in recent years to root out quality problems. So essentially they're hiring a quality manager as their new CEO. My experience of looking at automotive industry, of looking at different car industries, of looking at industry in general, is that quality managers are definitely more conservative and more focused on being particular, making sure the product is correct, it's right. That has some good qualities, but they're really aggressive in terms of innovation. He takes office in June, joining a reconstituted Subaru board, pending approval at the annual shareholder meeting traditionally held in June. Current CEO Tomomi Nakamura, 63, will become chairman under the wide-ranging management shuffle announced in Tokyo. Nakamura took the helm in 2018, says Automotive News, during a difficult period for the all-wheel drive specialist brand. And then at the time, Subaru was besieged by a vehicle inspection problem in Japan that hurt the brand's image in the domestic car market. And mushrooming quality problems led to embarrassing recalls while marring critical product launches such as the Ascent large crossover. Now, I personally owned a couple of Subarus. 2. Both of them were complete lemons. That's completely anecdotal. Doesn't mean the brand is good or bad. I mean, a lot of people have had great experiences. Let me know if you have, what yours were. He made quality improvement a top priority of his tenure and implemented sweeping reforms to relieve production pressure on overburdened factories. Ozaki was tapped to spearhead the quality initiative as the Chief Quality Officer in 2018. A graduate of Tokyo University of Agriculture and Technology, the Tokyo native joined Fuji Heavy Industries, as Subaru was previously called, in April of 1988. At the Tokyo press conference, Ozaki said one of his pastimes is eating ramen. Nice to know. Subaru said Ozaki is charged with devising a new modern plan to follow the 5-year roadmap formulated in 2018 that concludes this year. In the medium to long term, we are in a once-in-a-century tumultuous time in the automotive industry, he said. Even in our main battleground, the United States market, it is unclear and hard to determine how electrification will go from here. There is nothing we can do about uncertainty, so we will try to respond to changes in the market environment flexibly. In other words, this new CEO is saying he's not convinced that electrification will actually take off in the US, or that it is the future of the automotive industry. He's not convinced, therefore sticking with the status quo is the safe thing to do. Gasoline cars, hybrids, plug-in hybrids, they're safe. And Subaru will play it safe. Let me know how you think that'll go for the company. Under Nakamura's watch, hot demand for Subaru product drove US sales to record highs. Then the pandemic and ensuing semiconductor crunch torpedoed volume for the company. In 2020, Subaru fell short of achieving an astounding 12th straight year of record US sales when deliveries dropped by 13%. Last year, US volume declined by a further 5% to 556,581 vehicles, far off their all-time high of 700,000 achieved in 2019 before the COVID-19 pandemic. With supply coming back online, Subaru US sales increased by 1.3% to 53,600 vehicles through February 2023. Nakamura strengthened ties between Subaru and its biggest shareholder, Toyota. Toyota really is the big daddy of this company. They really pull the strings in terms of what happens. In 2019, Toyota increased its stake in Subaru to 20%, while Subaru took a smaller reciprocal stake in Toyota. That led to increased cooperation. For example, the Subaru Solterra is the Toyota bZ4X. Just rebadged and kind of has a little bit of different design on the outside, but it is the same car. So Subaru are relying on Toyota for their EV production. And Toyota are a company that don't actually have an EV production line. They don't have a single one. Yes, they make the bZ4X, that is true, but they don't have a dedicated EV production line anywhere in the world right now. So getting volume from Toyota will be very difficult over the next couple of years. Known as an EV skeptic, Nakamura often asked if demand was really that strong for EVs, especially in North America, Subaru's most important market. He hasn't changed his tune. He's still an EV skeptic. He still claims that the industry may not actually become EV focused at all. Last May, though, Subaru acknowledged increasing interest in the technology and announced plans to add a dedicated in-house EV assembly plant in Japan from about 2027 onwards. Well, that's when they'll start production of the facility, so maybe from 2028. The push was part of a multi-billion-dollar investment in electrification over 5 years. Last month, Subaru said it will ramp up its electrified offerings in the US to include several battery EVs by 2025 as it shifts development focus to the segment, but no one really knows where those EVs will be made or how Subaru will actually go about getting them. I'm not sure if Subaru does, but maybe they do. In handing the baton to Osaki, Nakamura acknowledged the emerging challenges. The pressing issues such as chip shortages and response to electrification are not at all easy to deal with, Nakamura said. We need to explore what would be the best way to develop battery electric vehicles, and there is also the issue of battery procurement. In other words, Subaru doesn't actually have any big battery supply contracts right now at all. What Subaru have done here is they've fired their CEO but promoted him to president. He's now the president, so he really pulls the strings. Now, unfortunately for Subaru, he is an EV skeptic, much like most of the Japanese automotive industry. That is just the reality that Subaru are dealing with, and that is the reason why I believe the company, as it exists today, will not by 2030. Let me know your thoughts, though, in the comments. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.